start recording. There we go. So that anything that we say, we can catch it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I wish we could have done this before your birthday, but your birthday is really just a snapshot. The solar return birthday is just a snapshot of the themes likely to develop over the course of the upcoming year. It's like your new year.
Yeah.
And that particular day, your birthday this year was on your birthday, your calendar birthday, which almost never happens, but it did this year, because we play with the calendar. And the
Okay.
more we play with the calendar, the less likely your birthday is ever going to fall at the same time in the same day.
Oh.
But for you this year, it happened, albeit earlier in the day than what you were born at. And so when we take that snapshot from where the planets are, we get an idea of what are the themes that are going to develop, what are the opportunities, what are the challenges that you may experience through the year. So I find this year to be a pretty awesome year for you, as in it seems like, I think when I was looking at the report, which by the way is just a canned report, but I like to send it because it does have some insight, as to timing and things like that. But
grab something.
Sure.
I'm listening.
Yeah, it shows that, this year for you is not a year of huge changes, but it does seem like there's a lot of expansion going on within your psyche or within your higher consciousness, your connection to spirit, however you want to, parcel that out. And on your birthday, the Sun and Venus were also closing in on that conjunction. Today's the exact, but the Sun was at 0 degrees Scorpio that day, and Venus is at 4 degrees of Scorpio that day. So they were closing in already. And so where the expansion comes for you is in the home sector of your chart, which I find interesting since you've just moved, not, all that long ago.
Right.
And it makes me wonder if there's something as a move in the offing for you over the course of this next year. Or, if it's not a literal real estate kind of transactional move, it could be that you're in the process of setting up some new foundation for something, meaning, maybe you've defined your business better over the course of the year, and now you know exactly what it is that you want to do and where you want to go, kind of thing. And you're beginning to build that foundation. And that seems to be what the major theme is, expansion, but also a focusing in on how does that affect the bottom line? Like, how do I, lay that concrete down first instead of sand so that what I build next, has support. So, interesting year. Now, when we're talking about expansion too, the Sun and Venus would make it look like the expansion area is maybe into relationship. And so the next place I started to look then was at what was going on in the 7th house of the solar return. And the 7th house of the solar return is big. 7th house meaning business partnerships, marriage, tighter relationships. But you're taking up the first and almost all of the second, house of the birth chart and almost all of the 3rd house of the birth chart. So it makes it look like to me that the relationship you're really building this year is about money and earning, and also about marketing, communication, networking, website building, the message that you want to convey, training and teaching, etc. So even though, you've got Venus engaged with the Sun on your birthday, I really think that the relationship is more about the earning potential and not about a love interest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because there is nothing on the horizon as a love interest, like zero zip nada.
Well, yeah, and maybe for the moment that's true, but this is like a snapshot for the whole year. So maybe right now in this moment, it isn't like that. But you do, by transit, have Pluto moving through the house of marriage and Jupiter moving through the house of love and romance. So it's entirely possible that somebody pops in at some point in this year. I would not discount that at all. It just doesn't seem to be the main focus or thrust of the year for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sun, let's see, on your birthday is, let's see what it's making connections to. It looks like it is at 0 degrees. It was 0 degrees when you were born. It is making a, yeah, actually, you know what? It's opposing the planet Uranus. No matter what I say about this one, it's going to come out wrong. So I'm just going to
Sudden changes,
there you go. Sudden changes,
unexpected events.
awakening events. Not necessarily negative, right? Not necessarily, but sometimes things you don't see coming. And Uranus happens to be in the 3rd house of your solar return, and it's affecting the 10th house of your career. So it could be changes of direction in what you're doing. It could be something that you put out in the world unexpectedly comes back with big returns. It could be something that you thought would bring big returns, doesn't bring the big returns. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly how that's going to play out. I can tell you, though, it is conjunct, transiting Uranus is conjunct your natal Ceres, and she's the goddess of plenty. So I don't think it's about not having enough. I think it might be striking in how much you receive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
like maybe the smallest little change you make, or the smallest little program you put out, or smallest little effort you make brings back big returns.
Okay.
But Uranus is retrograde still. It is retrograde until January. So the potential is that you may find yourself also being drawn backwards to do things that you used to do, or reinstating something that you thought you would never do again. Maybe a program, maybe you resurrect a program, or a creative idea that you had, before, that you maybe didn't complete, or maybe you just never even got it to get off the ground. So
Yeah.
there could be some really interesting things that pop up. I like Sun opposing Uranus because it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
It could be these things that, just shake you up and make you go, I wonder what more there could be. Where did I put my book this morning? I just want to see what gate. I think Uranus is still sitting at gate 27. Yes. No, it's at gate 3 now. And gate 3 is the gate of change and mutation. So I would
Okay.
expect it to definitely bring some kind of change to you.
Okay.
Changes, in direction, or just change. Mutation. Now, the thing about the gate 3 and mutation is that sometimes we have to throw things out there and test them,
Yeah.
and see if the mutation is adaptable. Is it maladaptive, or is it adaptive? And
Yeah.
so that may mean you test some things this year too. And I would say it's probably a good thing to do some testing on something, right? Throw
Mhm.
something out there, see how people respond. If they don't like it, withdraw it. Throw something else out there and see how people respond. And if they like it, then you keep, doing that.
Yeah.
So it does seem kind of like an experimental sort of year a bit in, seeing what it is exactly that people want. And at 0 degrees of Taurus, what people want is to feel good, right? They want to feel good. They want to feel satisfied. They want to feel like they're more tactile. They want to be practical. They want to have tools that make sense to them. Um, it's a very sensual kind of energy. And so the more senses that get involved with something, like if you're videos and audios and reading, and then maybe, I don't know, incorporating it makes me feel like, maybe more in your massage work or your healing work. I don't know.
Yeah. So my big struggle, I guess, right now is I so desperately want to get out of the massage therapy, right? And either host live workshops or do virtual workshops where I'm teaching people so my big passion right now is to teach women, or help women heal. I think this is my idea anyway.
Okay.
Help women heal from past issues, get out of crappy relationships, which would bring in maybe that Venus aspect that you're talking about. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe you can look at this and see if it makes sense. And get out of like narcissistic abuse. Get out of abusive relationships with people with narcissistic personality disorder, because this is a big dang. I mean, big deal. So many women are tricked and then trapped, and I mean, talk about changes to home. Here in 2 weeks, I'll be flying to Los Angeles to go get my daughter and drive
Oh,
with her back.
she decided to come home, huh?
Yeah, drive with her back across the country and move her in. So, I mean, it's going to be massive changes at home because I only have a 2-bedroom townhouse. I don't even have a bedroom for her, you know?
Oh, because your other daughter's living with you, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, my
Oh
oldest
gosh.
daughter.
So now
So,
that may precipitate a move.
true. Yeah, it may. It may precipitate a move.
And isn't she pregnant?
Yeah, at least as of yesterday. We'll see. She went to Planned Parenthood.
Oh, so she's thinking of maybe doing an abortion or
Yeah, yeah, because she's 21. She can't stand the guy. He's, emotionally abusive, and she can't even afford to feed herself. She's not ready. And it just enrages me that these men can just do this and take none of the responsibility, just want to walk away, not have anything to do with it. And we're stuck holding the bag for the rest of our life, basically, you
yeah.
know?
And it's even worse if they're, get to repeal Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
And it's just not right. And, I'm just tired of this. And then I have these almost evangelical Christian clients, or at least conservative Christian, that they're just awful. I mean, they're just so judgmental about this type of stuff. Yet half of them have had abortions. You know what I mean? And it's
or
like,
having affairs or,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think they're freaking evil or something. Something's wrong with them, I tell you. But this is the kind of stuff that lights me on fire, that I just get,
Passionate
yeah,
about.
yeah, I do.
Well, the interesting thing is that in your solar return chart, the planet Jupiter is on one side of the midheaven and the planet Mercury is on the other side of the midheaven. Whatever planet is closest to the midheaven in the solar return is what the focus is on for the year. And because it's like your worldly self, what are you going to focus your outer world self on, right? As opposed to
Yeah.
what do you focus your inner world on, which is the opposite end.
Uh-huh.
So Jupiter says there's something growing here. It is affecting the fifth house, which is creative. It's also about children, and it is about that energy of joy and how do we restore joy. Love and romance also falls into that. Mercury, both of these planets, by the way, are in Scorpio. So we
Okay.
had, so on your birthday, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun were all in Scorpio. So there's something deeply moving here. And the fact is that you're not going to, the rest of us are going to be done with Jupiter in Scorpio when it moves out next week or the week after next. But you won't be. You're going to be kind of holding on still to some of the deeper energies that were being brought to the surface through this. And that could be the fodder, that could be the driving piece that gets you to really crystallize what it is you want to do and how
Yeah.
you want to express this in the world, catalyzing your action, right?
Yeah.
So those two, and Mercury involved is about communication and teaching and marketing and all of the things that we think about. So if you wrote up a course or you did a video or you did something online, all of that falls into Mercury.
Okay.
And so Mercury and Jupiter working in tandem, they were literally just about 6 degrees away on your birthday. And so they're just building. This is building this year. This
Okay.
isn't like done yet, right? And it may not even be set in your mind yet what that looks like, but it's coming. So that was a
Yeah.
building kind of thing, just like the Venus and Sun thing was building, only with the planet Venus coming backwards to the Sun.
Yeah.
Um, they call that
Okay.
the inferior conjunction because they're coming toward each other this way instead of the Sun moving into Venus. So um, there's there's high possibility here, and it's also highly creative. And I think what the best advice I can give you is focus on what you're passionate about. But you also have to, in some ways, stay about as objective as you can possibly stay, right? Without, so you don't get drawn into the dramas and drawn into the baloney that is all around us, right? That divisiveness that's going on in this country. You've also just had Jupiter return, so you're on a whole new 12-year cycle of growth, right?
Mm.
So that happens sometime during the summer, maybe
Oh,
even around June or July, and it takes time to build this up because the planet was retrograde, then it moved forward, and now it's building steam toward what it will be that your 12-year cycle is about in terms of growth. From the looks of it, it looks like it's growing your outward self, bringing you recognition, bringing you, um, dare I say, fame, reward, uh,
fame.
for the work that you're doing out there. I was going to say notoriety, and then I said, no, I don't want that. I don't like that word necessarily because, you want to be seen as doing work that's really effective, um, and it may be sort of surprising how that ends up showing up for you, right, in new ways, like this idea of doing work with women, teaching and healing them to, helping them healed from abuse and how to take control of their own lives. Essentially, the word that comes to mind for me is empowering them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that makes complete and utter sense when you look at your chart because Pluto is in your 12th house of your solar return, which is all about empowering from the subconscious level. And doesn't RTT work on the subconscious?
Yes. It works on the subconscious.
I can't make up this stuff, right? I just can't. I mean, there it is, right there. And so it shows that, and Pluto's long term here, it also is, in your transiting chart, it's through the 7th house. And it makes me wonder, is there people out there that you're going to partner with that help to crystallize this, whether it's maybe a psychotherapist? um, I don't know what that looks like exactly,
Yeah.
but the potential there for you to partner with people is really high. And you're also right on the cusp, all of us on the cusp of the nodal shift from Leo Aquarius to Cancer Capricorn, and that takes on a lot more healing potential, like the interest in healing.
Okay.
And with Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn and the south node going to be in Capricorn, it is really about us being able to heal from within, right? Healing from within and reestablishing a new foundation. So we see it happening in our world. It's been happening, right? So I think you're being primed to do something new. And if I look at your Mars is in the 8th house of, or in the 1st house of your solar return. So that's you taking action on something that is you're passionate about. And it's in the sign of Aquarius. So it's new. It's unique.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
different. It's not the same old,
Okay.
right? So it's new and it's different. And in your transit chart, it's the 8th house of sex, death, and rebirth, transformation, right? And so there's a lot of things transforming. The black moon is also there still she's been traveling with Mars, but now she's kind of separated from him by a few degrees. But still, she is, I think, what tells me that the work that you do is in helping people look at their shadows, look at the
Yeah.
fear patterns that are erupting in their lives. And how do we transform that? What tools do you have to help them transform that? Like
Yeah.
my tools are about helping you to explore who you're meant to be, but none of that really helps me to tell you how to transform your life, but the tools you have helps people transform their lives.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
when they're sick or um, you know suffering from these health challenges or mental problems or from abuses, you've got the tools that can help them address the deep-seated unconsciousness that's there.
Yeah.
So that pretty much seems like what it is that you're working with. Now, the moon in a solar return shows us kind of the connection that you have to the public, but also sort of where your emotional self is in this.
Mm.
And it's in Aries. So you're damn pissed, right?
Yeah.
The moon
You're right.
I mean, the moon in Aries is contrary. It's conflict. It's
Mm.
confrontational, and the moon is the feminine, and it's not. It's in masculine territory. So who's the feminine mad at? The masculine, right?
Yeah.
The abuse is perpetrated upon the feminine. It's right there. I mean, I can't make that up either. And so for you this year, a lot of the emotional energy that you bring to the table is about that, helping women to use that anger or that confrontation or that, conflict energy to transform their lives, using it in a positive way and not letting it, sit there and keep them in place, without the ability to make the changes that they need to make. And I think that's an important work. And the moon is joined with Eris, the goddess of discord. So, literally you're helping women to erupt their life and turn it upside down. Uranus isn't very far away from that duo, even though it's in a different sign. It's in an out of sign conjunction, if you will. Not a very tight conjunction, but I think the three of them are sort of working together to
Mm-hmm.
create a rather shocking awakening for whoever it is that's in front of you. So if we look at it from that standpoint, the work that you're going to be doing or the way that you'll be earning money even does definitely shift from the more sensual sort of massage to the more combative. Let's face this abuse and let's get through it and get over it and move on, right? So,
I literally have had conversations with people about what I'm realizing the media and the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, Illuminati, the deluge, whatever's behind this negativity on this planet, what they have done to women. Okay, because women, we are far more powerful than men. We are far smarter than men because we have femininity. Okay, because we have compassion.
mm-hmm,
And okay, so somebody described Trump to me this way, and then I'm going to put it in another perspective.
okay.
So, what Trump has done is gotten America to fight one another. So basically, and maybe it didn't start with him, but it's certainly worse than ever. Like we're polarizing even more. And one of my clients described it this way. He's like the guy that walks into the bar and starts this enormous fight, gets everybody fighting, and then slips behind the bar, steals the money, and slips out the back door with nobody noticing.
And never gets a mark on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ever.
Yep.
So, but this is also what the media and article, everything has done to women. They've gotten us to compete with one another, to fight with one another, to be jealous of one another, and so that we don't collaborate with one another. Because if we all collaborated, instead of thinking, oh, well, I don't have that body, she's better than me, or I can't afford those clothes, so I'll never look that way. They keep putting us down. They keep showing us how we're not whole and how we're not okay,
Mm-hmm.
just as we are. So they have done that to women. They have gotten us fighting against one another, being jealous of one another, trying to steal one another's, spouses or boyfriends or whatever. I'm speaking for the South mostly because women are absolutely horrible. So a lot of them are like, there's not enough. They've gotten us to feel like we're not enough. We don't have enough. The only way to get what we want is to take it from somebody else. That's kind of the Southern mentality. And so if we're all busy fighting one another and not feeling enough, then we'll never be empowered as women. We will never reach our potential in all of the female, the divine feminine that we could be. And so I think that we all need we need to see this illusion for what it is, an illusion, that it's all made up,
Yeah.
that we don't need to compete. Nature doesn't compete, it collaborates. If
Yep.
we collaborated, all this shit would end. All this Mars based masculine bullshit would be over.
Well, in a way, yes. I don't know that there is a power to be out there that's been causing this or creating this.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It feels to me like it might be a what do you call it? An evolutionary step that we were taking, that we're still in the process of, getting ready, as we are getting ready to leap away from this.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the best thing for us to do is to just keep cleaning our own selves, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can't make the South change. You
Yeah.
can't. It's out of your power. But the more that you change, then you begin to attract people who are in that readiness for change, and then they change, and it works out from that way. So the work that you want to do is so important, but you yourself have to stay out of the what it is that everybody else out there is doing. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
you just can't change that. It just doesn't
Right.
work that way.
Right.
So in a way, there's a lot to be said about this conflict-driven world right now is really getting so ridiculous, right? That
Mm-hmm.
we can really see that the only next course of action is going to be to greet it with the heart. And I think that's exactly by design. Jupiter changes signs next month,
Yeah.
the 8th, 2 days after the election. It moves out of this deep, dark Scorpio sort of place and into a much better sort of, I say better, I'm almost tongue in cheek, um, Sagittarius, where we can expose the falsities in the things that people are saying, and in the thinking, in the dogmas and in the doctrines that people have adopted. And that's going to be a good thing, right? It's going to
Yeah.
be a year-long, hopefully a ability for us to become more optimistic, to see each other's point of view in a better way. So I think it's a perfect time for you to adopt this kind of a program that can so totally change people's lives. And it's obviously the work you're meant to do, because
Okay.
Jupiter's at your midheaven in this particular chart. So, and it may not be, although both those planets are in forward motion. And for you, did you realize you were born when Venus was retrograde?
Yeah, my old astrologer Lee told me that
Hmm.
Venus was retrograde. Yeah.
Hmm. So this is perfect for you. And this is the
Okay.
perfect time to catalyze that while Venus is in retrograde, and she's halfway through her cycle as of today. And so there's this drilling down right now for you of, what are those values that I really want to align with. And
Yeah.
in fact, this morning on my morning show, I was talking to people about the Sumerian myth of Inanna, and how she has to go into the underworld. She doesn't have to, but she wants to. Um, I think she really just wanted to knife her sister Ereshkigal in the back, but when she goes into that underworld, she is forced to face her energies that are in her chakras, essentially, but that's not how they word it. They say that she has to give up 7 things, right? So she has adorned herself with 7 different pieces of things, like a scepter, a crown, a robe, and they all represent her authority as the Queen of Heaven. And before she can go into the underworld and see her sister, she has to actually take all of them off. And
Okay.
so she comes to her sister naked, and her sister then kills her and hangs her up to, on a hook, and that's another part of the ugliness of it. But the whole idea is that in this Venus retrograde, we're stripping away everything that isn't us, that's not real, that's not true. that's not in alignment with who we are. And, eventually she is, resurrected and brought back to life. But it symbolizes to me that drilling into the core, and we
Yeah.
get the gift, the Arkenstone, or whatever it is that we're drilling for, and we come back. And then we can offer that to the world as a gift or our service. And that's where you are, right? You're in that
Okay.
part right now. And, after we get past November 16th, I would say after we get past December 17th, because that's when Venus, is out of the shadow area where she went retrograde,
Yeah.
you're going to have some ideas that coalesce around what am I wanting to do with this.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be afraid to put anything out there this year. Right.
So is this a time to just like figure out what that message is, but not release it yet until after December, or is it
No, I
okay?
think, luck is on your side. So I think
Okay.
whatever it is that you put out there, um, is probably perfect timing. Does it stick? Well, that's the part that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But see, your own self right now, you're tuned into the anger of a lot of the women out there. And how can you use that then as a tool to be able to help people change? To use that as a way to say, look, this, if you've, given away your power to whoever, is it the, masculine, is it, to the feminine, whoever you've given away your power to, um, this technique, because I'm assuming that's what you want to do more of, is going to help you come back from that.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the work that you're really good at. Kind of, it's almost like, facing down that masculine. I should have looked at did I look at where it was? Pallas Athena. Mm. So Pallas she represents within us our relationship to the masculine. Remember, Pallas Athena, she was born from the cleaved head of, was it Zeus? And she springs forth fully formed,
Oh
and
my gosh.
she really represents the feminine in her very powerful self, like Xena, warrior woman, or superwoman, or something like that.
Okay.
And but in completely rocking her feminine, but also in complete command of the masculine, right?
Yeah.
She's embodied both. So in our chart, a Pallas Athena position can show us where we've given away our power, or where maybe we didn't get a real good read on what the masculine is about. And for you, Pallas Athena is conjunct your destiny, your north node, and this is your birth chart, and also conjunct your prenatal lunar eclipse. So what you're here to learn. And in your 8th house of empowering, getting through some of this dark stuff, right? Well, on your birthday, Pallas Athena is also in your solar return 8th house. So you take what you've learned about how to empower yourself, and you help others transform that in their own lives. It's really kind of beautiful to see. But Pallas is not something we use very often, but she's in Virgo on your birthday. And that to me spells practical application, practical steps. And Virgo's the feminine. So practical steps given to the feminine to help them empower themselves, help them make these transformations in their lives.
Mhm.
It's really almost perfect. I mean, it is. Now, the only other thing that I could see here there's two little, there's always got to be that little kink in the ironworks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that's going to make you, go, ah. And one of them is Saturn in the 11th house of your solar return chart. And Saturn is the foundation setter. It's the builder, right? This is the master builder part of who you are. In the 11th house, it's about, okay, I have the dream. This is pretty funny. On your birthday, it's in the 11th house of the solar return.
Yeah.
But in your astrology chart itself, your natal chart, it's moving through the 6th house. The sixth house, I always tell people, is where these, you know, pie in the sky ideas have to come down and meet earth,
Yeah.
right? They have to,
Yeah.
you know, you've got to take steps to enact something. Well, Saturn is in your 11th house of dreams and wishes and intentions that are all kind of circling above, but he's transiting through your sixth house, which says, okay, now you gotta get him out of here and down, right? So that
Yeah.
means you gotta
Yes.
have a plan.
Yeah.
You've got to
Yeah.
have a goal, or you have to have an outline. You have to have something, a template, if you will, to follow so that the foundation is set.
Yeah.
So that's the I find it, that one is going to be a little bit difficult because, you know, we are always so filled with ideas, but then we get kind of caught up in, like, which one do I want to enact? Which one do I
That's
want
what
to
I've
bring in?
that's what I've been struggling with for a long time.
Well, the answer
Yeah.
is, you know, Saturn in Capricorn, which one supports the collective? Which one supports building a new tomorrow? Which one supports, God help me, letting go of the patriarchy, toppling the patriarchy,
Yeah.
right? I heard a really interesting talk the other day by, I think it was Marianne Williamson. Was it her or was it the other guy? No, it was her. And she was quoting somebody that said, you know, the opposite of patriarchy isn't matriarchy. So we don't want to move from patriarchy to matriarchy. We want to move from patriarchy to fraternity, which says where we are in a healthy blend of these energies, that everybody's expressing themselves in a healthy way, both in their divine masculine and in their divine feminine. And, you know, see, that's the big problem, is the masculine doesn't want to let go of any of that power. They don't
I
want to
know.
embrace that divine feminine.
Yeah.
And I think in some cases, even, you know, the feminine is not wanting to embrace that masculine part of themselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, it creates this, you know, we're at loggerheads.
Yeah.
We have to embrace both,
Yeah.
right? We have to embrace both and be able to work through that. So for you, Saturn then is about embracing both the feminine idea creation and nurturing of these ideas, and the Capricorn more patriarchal demand that we put some meat in it. You know, what can we sink
Yeah.
our teeth into? So it's good stuff, but it's also kind of, you know, hard. It's probably the hardest thing to claim the what. So
Yeah.
that comes. The only other thing that I see is that Chiron, thank God you're over 50 now, right? Yes.
No.
You're getting there. Oh,
I'm
you've got 2 years to go, right?
I'm 48.
So you turned 48. Well, in human design, you embrace the are you a, what do you remember what your role is? Are you a role model something, or a,
I
what
am
day was our coaching on? Was it on Tuesdays that we met, or Mondays?
Monday. Monday.
Okay, so let me see here if I still, um nope. Did I pull you out of here? I did. I pulled you out of here.
A
Dang it.
roll.
I'm trying to figure out what your human design was. Look over here. Because I think it's important. There's Amy, Hanya, Rachel, Dinah. I have every other chart of yours. That's funny. Dinah, there you are. A 5-1. Okay, well, my idea was that at 48 is, generally speaking, the time where we really start to engage the mantle of our authority in a powerful
Mm,
way. Like, reaching wise woman status, or reaching maturity, if you will, like where people begin to respect you because of your experience and your life, experiences. So, being 48, you're just 2 or 3 years away from your Chiron return, but it's coming. And Chiron is conjunct your midheaven in your regular chart on this
Yeah.
birthday. And it's in your second house of values and worth and the money you charge and that kind of thing. So a part of the healing, um, in order for you to be really what you want to be for others, you're going to have to work with the healing of that within yourself. So you're going to have to really claim your authority. You're going to have to be willing to come out of the shadows and stand your ground in that strength of, this is wrong and this is what we're going to do about it and this is how we change it and that kind of thing. You're going to
Yeah.
have to embrace that activist within you.
Okay.
But Chiron is right now backward in retrograde, and it's at 28 or 29 degrees of Pisces. So we're still addressing sort of the victim energy. So the more that you clear out any place where you're still being the victim or being victimized, the better you're going to be when it comes time for you to really work with people one-on-one on these things. And I really kind of see maybe that you end up creating groups that you work with, like groups of women, not just maybe there's one-on-ones with the initially, but that maybe individual sessions of RTT sessions where you're working with a woman trying to clear out abuse in her system from her field ends up,
Yeah.
moving from there into a group, like where a group
Yeah.
support system
Yeah.
where you can have a group that you meet on Zoom or you can meet in Facebook or something like that. Because it feels to me like Saturn is really besides being about having your what, it's also in the house that we think of as groups.
Yeah. And
So,
that's what I was thinking, that I don't think I want to do a lot of one-on-one work, but
mhm.
or maybe do a hybrid program where it is a group coaching program, healing program, you know, clearing, transformation, reactivation of all the energy centers in the body. And maybe do group RTT because you can do it in that format. But then
Ah,
also, yeah,
okay, so that's pretty awesome.
yeah,
You could have a group of, 5 people, 5 women, I don't know, however many. And that seems to be more up your alley,
hmm,
and is certainly, can be a bigger money maker,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
you're kind of leveraging your time across more
yes,
people. So I don't know. I think it's potential for you to really focus in on that groups
yeah,
as opposed to ones,
yeah,
one-on-ones,
yeah,
one on one-on-ones. Yeah, whatever. However you say that.
yeah.
But for the most part, you have a really good year ahead of you. It's kind of exciting. It feels cuspy, like
Okay.
like you're on the cusp of something big. And who knows what next year brings. All you have right now is what's in front of you. And what's in front of you is Jupiter at your midheaven. Give it all you got. Give it
Okay.
all you got. And that, maybe it is about turning everything around toward teaching,
Okay.
and counseling, group counseling.
Yes. If I
Certainly
have,
seems to be supported.
yeah, if I have people, to talk with, interactive conversations, then the stuff just pours out of me. It's where I get stuck is me trying to put together a succinct message. Like I just need to be live and just talking and have people come on and say things so that I can respond. I need
Yes.
something to respond to,
Well, what you
you know.
need is the mirror because you've got the
Yeah,
fifth line profile. You need the karmic mirror there. And
yeah,
that person helps you see that. And then
yeah,
you can, roll forth with stuff, whatever it is,
yeah,
whatever stuff you need.
yeah,
Um, so anyway, I think, sometimes you just have to sort of jump out there and try things,
yeah,
and or, be able to in some way test the waters. this might be one of those years. It's not a foregone conclusion what form all of this takes. I think it's a good year to sort of throw stuff out, test it, see what it does. If it doesn't work, well, put it back on the back burner. Maybe there's something you've meant to do before and you can bring it in and that kind of thing. So um, I would say expect the unexpected and don't hold yourself back
Yeah.
from doing what you want to do, because
Yeah.
that only increases or solidifies the wound.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
No, I don't.
Hell no, we won't go. We don't want that.
Hell no, we won't go.
Yeah. So anyway, now I really, really want you to come on and talk um, sometime soon if you want to. I mean, as soon as you want to
Okay.
the group, because these are mostly women. There's a couple of men maybe that show up from time to time, but the group is definitely about 98% women, and they're the ones that are going to want to hear what you have to say about
Yeah.
how RTT or whatever you end up doing or calling this product, how it can change their lives, because there's a lot of women out there that are sort of floundering,
Yeah.
right? And
Floundering is a good word.
yeah,
Yeah.
like there's this one woman who she is probably somewhere between your age and my age, so between 48 and 57. I can't remember what year she was born, and um, she's out there trying to find jobs, and she's very qualified for the job she's going after, but then she gets there and she goes through these interviews, and because she's not the young feminine you know model of what an employer is looking for, mainly male employers, she keeps getting right up to the top there in the interview process, and then the other person gets chosen.
Yeah.
And so I've got people like that, that are searching for what their work is. I have women who are, just stuck in a rut that, they don't know how to help themselves out of bad. I have this one woman, bless her heart, who's in a nasty, nasty divorce. She lives down there in Florida in the South, and she's facing judges that are good old boy network. And her husband's attorney is good friends with the judge, who is good friends with her husband, who has money. And so she's fighting, to get what she wants out of this. And as they're flaunting the laws, right, and doing whatever
Yeah.
they want to do. And so I think it's a good group of people for someone like you to come in and talk to.
Yeah.
And they
Yep. That's
know
it.
that I had a session with you
Okay.
because I talked about that. And
Okay.
so they don't know exactly all the details of the session, um, or exactly what RTT is. So you
Yeah.
could help them, see what that means for them and how they can change their lives with that. But you have to
That's
be brave.
exciting.
You have to be
Uh,
brave.
I know. Well, as long as you're asking me questions or we're having a conversation, I'm going to be
Yes.
fine, you know?
And because of the way it works, they're all on, this is live on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so they're able to interact with us. They can ask questions, and
Yeah.
you can work with them that way.
Yeah.
So, or talk to them and address how RTT might be able to help them with their individual things that they're happening. So if you're willing to do that, let's set a date, and then I want maybe a little blurb about what RTT is, like the elevator speech version, so that I
Yeah.
can prep them with that, and
Yeah.
a little bit of a bio for you. So now, my 8 a.m. is your 11 a.m.,
Yeah.
right? You're on the East Coast. So
Yeah.
does that work for you is there a day during the week that works better than another?
Mondays are good because I'm off.
Monday it is.
And let me look. I'm going to switch over to my calendar real quick and
Okay.
just see if I can.
I
Hang
gotta get rid of
on.
this gum. It's nasty.
Lord Jesus, that dog has gas. I swear that dog has gas.
What are you feeding her?
um, I feed her regular dog food, but my daughter,
Uh-oh.
I think is feeding her like people food when I'm not looking.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
is her dog food filled with gluten-y stuff, or is
No,
it
no,
good
no.
stuff?
It's good. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, So maybe on the 5th. What do you think about the 5th of November?
Remember the 5th of November. I oh gosh, I'm looking at October going, wait, that's not a 5th. Yeah, Monday the 5th is perfect.
Okay.
So why don't you just email me at some point here a little blurb about RTT, and if I need to, I could, if you don't have time, I can probably go on to, what is her name, Marissa Peer,
Yeah,
Maria.
Marissa Peer. Marisa, one R and one S, two E's in Peer.
Okay,
Peer.
Peer,
Yeah,
and so then I can look up some information on that. But I also would like a picture of you and a bio, quick
yeah.
little bio. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be much. And then what I'll do is set it up for the 5th and send you a link. We use BeLive as the platform. Do you have Google Chrome on your computer?
No, but I think I can install it
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, and then you can always take it back off, but it
Yeah.
only works with Google Chrome, and that just happened to be the browser I was always using anyway. So we can, have like a, what do they call that? It's a not there's interview format and there is talk show format. So we'll have talk show format so that if there's something you want to show people or pictures or something like that, we can do that too.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
November 5th it is.
Woohoo! And
Mm.
then I guess uh, I can tell them like what RTT is, what it helps with, why it's different, talk about the subconscious mind.
Mhm.
But I also want to talk, I think, just about the how it addresses, like how it actually raises their vibration
Ooh,
because
that's
it
good.
clears out the old energy, the stuck energy that it's stuck in organs, it's
Mhm.
stuck in the spine, it makes us sick, and it's absolutely running the show, at the well, like when we did your session, just
Mhm.
realizing what all that stuff was had caused you to believe,
Yeah,
all
I
these
mean, it was pretty
years.
profound. I mean, um, and I think it's very helpful for people to be able to have a tool to get past that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a great idea. So how it helps raise your vibration. Um, Anything else you want to focus on? Well, if you, between now and then, if there's something new that comes up that you want to focus on,
Yeah.
all you have to do is let me know. Like, what do you want to
Yeah.
focus on?
Okay.
So, and it'll give you an opportunity to, you know, be introduced to what is sometimes a large group of people there live, but if they're not live, they're seeing it later
Yeah.
and may contact you later. So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah. Okay.
Yay!
Any questions for me from about your year? What to expect, what not to expect?
I don't think so. Well, I may have some later. I'm probably going to listen to this again after you
Yeah.
send it to me, the audio, and I may have some questions then.
And if you do, email me, let me know. We can do another quick
Yeah.
chat like this and
Yeah.
you know, get get your questions answered.
Okay.
All right, sweetie. It was so good to
Uh,
see you.
Good to see
I
you
miss our
too.
Monday chats.
I know. I know. I do too. Thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate it. And
No problem. Yeah.
I probably need to have you on something someday. Right now, I don't have any show or anything going on because I think everybody needs to get their solar return done,
A solar
and
return, I think, is probably one of the best charts. It's one of my favorite ones to do because it
yeah,
really crystallizes in your mind, like, where am I going this year? And,
yeah,
the places to watch out for, like, this idea of goals and bringing them down into grounding it into reality. And,
yeah,
um, otherwise maybe you go through the whole year with all these great ideas, but they're just waffling around up there in your head and
yeah,
never coming into, reality.
yeah.
So anyway, that's one of my favorite readings to do. In fact, I hardly ever do natal astrology readings at all anymore. The two I do a lot of solar return and human design.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, all of the other ones are out there and available, but those are the two, the human design and solar
Solar
returns.
return.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I might as well take the rest off my website and not even worry
Ye-
about them. But
exactly. And you know what? You may actually have more orders because people will be less confused. You know
maybe.
what I mean? So
Could be.
maybe just go ahead and eliminate them. And as you work with people, like say with the solar return, then you can suggest the next step would be, hey, let's schedule a blah, blah, blah in like a couple of months or 3 months,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I feel like my whole focus is shifting, and
Yeah.
um, I've teamed up with this lady named Tam, and we're writing an energy almanac, based on astrology, numerology, and things like that for the year 2019.
Huh.
And she is an artist, so what she does is she takes the words that I give her about what to expect for the week, and she turns it into drawings. So,
Okay.
and let me see if I have an example. Like this was from the weekend, last weekend. So she'll take the words that I say, like this was a great weekend for mind and hearts, right? This was the last weekend when the moon was in Pisces, right?
Uh-huh.
So she took the words that I said, and I said no big decisions because there was a moon Neptune conjunction, things, or Mercury Neptune conjunction, things, or whatever it was, I can't remember now. And so she puts it into the art form. I supply the words, and she calls it astro inklings. So it's like giving you this idea of what's coming for the week. And so she also does a week one. So
Okay.
in fact,
Neat.
she's probably given me the new one. So I supplied her with the words yesterday for this next week. And I don't even know why I started telling you about this.
You were saying you collaborated with her, things are changing for you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know how when I last talked to you and you were talking about creating a membership site or something like that, and I was in total resistance to that.
Yeah, yeah,
And now I'm thinking more like this is a way, to get people interested in a group.
yeah,
Or in a membership, because we'll offer the art and the words to it in a membership sort of way, and then be able to offer people more and more stuff, that's
yeah.
as a part of the membership group. I just haven't quite finished getting over that idea of doing a membership group, but I'm getting there.
So
Oh,
I got
Lord.
I got into a membership to learn how to do Instagram for business, how to build
Yes,
your audience.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I knew somebody had told me they had done that. It was you. You're
yeah.
right.
I did that. It was
Mhm.
$72 a month. They had like 5 different lessons already there, and they were just PDFs. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There was no video, there was no nothing. But then when you signed up, you got an email sent to you giving you access to a private Facebook group. Okay, closed, private Facebook group. So then all the members were in there together. And honestly, that was a huge benefit to people because people have different skill sets. And somebody would talk about some issue they were having, and somebody with a skill set that matched would come in and talk,
Yeah, help
write
them out
about
with
it
that.
on there. And so that is a huge, people need community. They want community. They need to connect with other people.
And
And so
we're going into a 3-person universal year. It's about
oh,
community.
okay, awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Didn't think about that.
yeah.
So
So that 3 universal year is going to make that idea of community and tribe and relating in, the smaller group atmosphere much more appealing to everybody.
yes.
So
Yeah.
that's an important thing to know too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's, I don't know that I would charge $72. Maybe I would,
Yeah.
maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. But she's, really her working with me on this has been such a huge appeal to the people. They love it. They just love it.
Oh,
There's like
awesome.
something to be said about the visual to the words.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the other part of it, which is the visual and the words, but is the journaling part of it. So
Okay.
you can help yourself by, going journaling through the week, how you're experiencing the energies. Is it,
Yeah.
helping you? Is it,
Yeah.
causing you to, think twice before you do something and that kind of thing? So
Yeah.
anyway, and I think after the first of the year, then that I'll package maybe, yeah, probably the first of the year after Uranus comes back from retrograde. In January, Uranus turns direct on January 6th. And after that, there are no planets retrograde for like almost 2 months.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
huge, right? That's like
That's
big gateway opening for us to do and, put things out there. And that
right.
we've been stymied by retrograde since what? Last May?
Yeah.
June?
Yeah.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
finally things are gonna, be all full steam ahead. So anyway, so lots of potential out there for, more of that Facebook group kind of work and things like you say,
Yeah.
even for you personally, because it's your
Yay.
third house has a lot going in it, so
Yeah.
that puts focus
I
there.
need all that. I need all that energy in my third house because I feel
Mhm.
like I haven't been able to speak for months. Really.
Yeah, well, your solar return third house has Uranus in it. You find your voice,
Okay.
find your voice, and start speaking to those things that um, excite and energize people.
Okay.
Move them to action. It's kind of your thing this year. Okay, so I will send you the information I need to send you for November 5th. I just need you to send me your bio and if you have a little blurb about RTT that you want me to include, and your picture.
Okay.
And if not, I'll go find it myself. I can do that too.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
sweetie, I'm going to stop